Rob Van Dam, listen to True Hill Heat. Pow. Welcome to True Hill Heat.
Ready when you are.
Hey guys, I may have go away heat, but these guys have true heel heat. So you better listen to the podcast or else I'm gonna kick you in your fucking cock and balls.
I'll get it.
Hello. It is me, your true hill phenom, SP3. We are live on the True Hill Heat, YouTube and Facebook for our WWE NXT Great American Bash 2023 review. We're here to discuss the huge show from Cedar Park / Austin, Texas from last night with arguably one of the best WWE matches of the year. We're going to talk about it. And of course, if we're talking about NXT on the True Hill Heat YouTube channel, there's only one person we should have aboard on this ride here. He is the face and the ace of the True Hill Heat YouTube channel. You saw him last night on the watch party, as always, hosting our always spectacular, splendid watch parties. He is Romeo Anthony Colon. How are you doing, Romeo?
What is up, bro? I'm doing good. Interesting, Great American Bash. There is a lot to talk about.
This is a Great American Bash that really lived up to WCW lore. Like WCW.
Explain.
Great American Bash, I would say in the 90s when I was growing up, there would be good ones. There would be some great matches on Great American Bash, but then we would also have some of the worst stuff on that show as well. And that's why if you're watching us on YouTube, you see in the headline, we have worst WWE debut ever, ? So we will discuss that as well during this show here, Romeo. You don't seem as hyped or as like praiseworthy for this show as you usually are for NXT shows. Like I think I said it on In the Weeds, if anybody was watching me and Jeremy over there when we talked about the show, it was like this didn't feel like the other three shows we got in 2023 before we got to the main event.
Well, I'm not as high on it because I'm 100% brutally honest, which I always am, and I'm unbiased. I keep it real. I don't just because, I probably watch NXT more than anyone, doesn't mean I'm not going to be honest about it. Even though Shawn Michaels blocked me, even though I watch his show more than anyone else, and he blocked me, whatever. I'm still here. I'm going to keep it real.
I watch his show as well. He blocked me. I mean, he's one of many people from WWE that have seemingly blocked me. No wonder I can't get into media.
Somebody on this card has me blocked too, asshole.
Someone on the commentary team has me blocked, so don't worry. We're all here.
But shucky ducky, quack quack.
But yes, let's talk about the Great American Bash, and we want to talk about it with you guys. We're gonna give you, what happened on the show, as we usually do with our pay-per-view reviews that we do for WWE, AEW, and New Japan Pro Wrestling, even Impact Wrestling. I was left alone on the last one. I was pretty sad, but it's all right. It's a good one. Check it out. But yes, we talk about it, we break it down, and we give you our opinions on the show. But we want to hear your thoughts, your opinions on NXT, the Great American Bash 2023. If you're with us live, we appreciate you. Sound off in the live chat. We'll try to highlight as many of your comments as possible. But of course, if you're feeling generous, you want to give back to the contributors here at the True Hill Heat YouTube channel, the best way you can do that is with a super chat donation. Any dollar amount matters and will be highlighted on screen with us, and we will give you your money's worth, give you our thoughts, our takes on what you think. And if you have any questions for us, you can put that in a super chat donation as well. And to support us in the best way possible, you could do that by hitting the join button for just $1 a month, becoming a member of the True Hill Heat YouTube channel. Or if you go over to patreon.com/True Hill Heat for $3 a month, you get more exclusive content, the True Hill Heat Prediction Championship, and you can help us out in a huge, huge way at patreon.com/True Hill Heat. But yes, Romeo, we got to talk about NXT, the Great American Bash. But before that, we got to highlight some comments that we got here. Vala B, who says, I have some thoughts about the rest of the card, but boy, oh boy, that main event, fucking tight. We got Steven Chambers, who said, we got Steven Chambers, who says, what's up, gang? What's going on, Steven? We got Trey, who is with us over on In the Weeds in the chat, saying, yes, hashtag justice for SP3. I saw your comment, Trey. I recognize the supporters. We got Ace, who says, what's up, SP3, Romeo, and chat. We got Frantic World, who says the same thing. Frantic World here, always here. Appreciate you, Frantic World. And we got, he says, man, some people in WWE can't handle the True Hill Heat. It seems. How many people from WWE got you blocked?
You asking Frantic World or me?
No, I'm asking you. Of course. I can't get an immediate response from Frantic World and pause.
Well, those there's two off the top of my head. I'd have to think really hard if there's more. I'm a nice guy, man. I'm as nice as it gets. I don't know why you blocked me.
Who are you talking about?
Not you. I mean,
no, I thought you were. Talking about me. You should be.
No,
you should be talking about me. How dare they?
No.
How dare any of them? We got Josh in the chat who says, "Your is a banned word in THH."
Yes. No matter how many R's you put on it.
Damn. Too bad. And we got Ace who says, Gable Stevenson says, Gable Stevenson's debut was definitely awful.
We're going to get in. I have so much to say about that. And I think some takes are a bit exaggerated, like this one. We got to get into specifics. What exactly was awful? We'll get into the specifics.
I mean, we'll get into specifics, but it was bad. It was definitely bad. But yes,
it was bad.
A lot
specific
of it was bad. A lot of it was bad.
All right. So we're gonna argue then. Here we go.
We got.
No, I'm just kidding.
Hey. I've been looking.
We'll build up to
Romeo.
it.
I've been searching. You know what I've been searching for? A lot of my awards are already pretty much in lock. Like 7-8 months into the year, you could see who's in the running. Maybe we'll get a couple of more contenders, but you know who's going to be in the running. You know what hadn't been in the running for me? Worst match of the year. I needed something to stand out ahead of the pack. And we got it last night, so I appreciate it for that. But yes, we got to talk about this show here. We will touch on the kickoff show, as they had the kickoff show matchup. Unlike WWE main roster, NXT has kickoff matches, as it was Team Nathan Frazier, the Heritage Cup champion, teaming up with Dragon Lee, Ulysses Leon, and Valentina Feroz to defeat the Metaphor of Miss Jackson, Lash Legend, Noam Dar, awful name, and not Noam Dar, Metaphor. Oh, Noam Dar, Aura, and Aura.
That is an awful name too, Noam Dar.
No, it's not. It's his name. Relax. But yes, this was a lot of energy in this one. Good action. They got the win here in a good way to open up the show. I like the high flying sequence when they had a couple of, Nathan Frazier and Dragon Lee, two of the best workers, but honestly, don't get enough credit or don't get enough time, it seems, here on this show in general. But I thought this was a nice showcase for them and the metaphor, even though it's an awful name. Romeo, what was your thoughts on the kickoff show?
Better than expected. Good on Dragon Lee getting the pin and the win. Out of the women, Yulissa Leon looked the best to me and has the most potential here. I did not know she was second generation. I don't know who her father is, but that was interesting to know. Jakara wearing the sunglasses, forgetting to take them off, was funny. They came off instantly. Dragon, and Frazier looked as good as you'd expect. Oro played his part well, being the pinata. And I thought Lash, Legend, looks better than from when I last saw her as a regular doing singles matches on NXT.
Yeah, because she's in a multi-person matchup. So you don't have to be kind of the centerpiece of that. So I think that was helpful for her. She didn't have to put in the time that she usually does on a singles match, and it doesn't look good. So I think that helped her out.
But Yulissa particularly was impressive because she's doing things out there in the ring that really not too many people in NXT, not too many women in NXT are doing.
Yeah. And the match got some time. It got just under 11 minutes. So not a classic matchup, not anything that memorable, but it was a lot of fun how to kick off the show. We got Queen Monet, who says the kickoff match should have been on the main card because it was awesome. We got Steven Chambers, who says WWE apparently sees something in Lash Legend. She's a really good talker and a personality. I think that's what they see in her, and they have faith that she'll get better in the ring.
Yeah, she's an athlete. She's a former basketball player.
Romeo, got a question for you. Kaden says, Romeo, did y'all see me on the watch along?
No, you're on the wrong side of camera.
On the wrong side of history, sir. We got an opening video that focuses on Dusty Rhodes, who invented, of course, the Great American Bash, who was born in Austin, Texas. And Cody Rhodes narrates how important this is. And we look at most of the card. I thought this was the right way to kick off the show. What did you think about this opening vignette video package?
Yeah, I loved it. Cody's great, as always. Dusty, always great seeing Dusty. Yeah, perfect.
The American Dream. That wouldn't be the last. Wrestling the American Dream. Dusty Rhodes. We should have got Vic or Booker since he knew the American Dream. He should have said we got some plunder in one of these matches. That would have been a great little touch. But Booker, man, he was making me laugh on commentary. I'll give him that. But our opening matchup on the main card was for the NXT Tag Team Championships. We had Gallus of Mark Coffey and Wolfgang with Joe Coffey in their corner versus the family of Tony D'Angelo and Channing Stacks Lorenzo. This was an energetic matchup. The crowd got into it pretty much like halfway through, and they were really behind the family. In the end, it was with the bada bing, the bada boom, bada bing. The family, Tony D and Stacks, have finally won the NXT Tag Team Championships. I thought this one got really good, like towards like the final 3 to 4 minutes of the matchup. I think it's when the family hit the Power and Glory Powerplex. And I was impressed by Tony D hitting the superplex the way he did, and then Channing Stacks getting the height on the splash. That looked really good, and that was a great near fall that got the fans into the matchup. And I love the near fall and how Gallus tried to cheat to get the win with Joe Coffey getting involved, and then he got taken out with the tire iron. And the chase for the family is over. Tony D'Angelo finally wins championship gold in NXT, and he's kind of like, when you have someone like Grayson Waller who got up to a top position without winning championship gold, it kind of mixes up the argument, but he feels like kind of like the last guy of kind of like the pillars of the 2.0 era to win like a major matchup like this. He's gotten major wins, gotten wins over Ciampa, gotten wins over Pete Dunne, but this felt like his biggest win to date, opening the card, winning a prestigious title in the NXT Tag Team Championships. I gave the matchup 3.25 stars. I thought it was a nice way to kick off the show. What did you think, Romeo?
Yeah, it was a nice match. It didn't get a lot of time. It was kind of short. I think it was like 9 to 10 minutes, something like that.
Yeah, 9 minutes, 15 seconds.
Yeah. So they kept it in that window where it didn't overstay its welcome. I've always liked Tony D. Stacks has improved in playing his role of the underboss. They're a formidable act, the two of them together. Tony looked like a badass in the end with the powerbomb of Mark into Wolfgang on the outside and then using the tire iron. A satisfying end to the storyline, the right direction, the right choice. Tony D's little family needs more members, though. I think that's the direction they should go going forward, adding a little bit more to it, at least like maybe a manager or a valet or something like that. And for Gallus, Joe Coffey needs to be the focus going forward. Mark and Wolfgang went as far as they could for now. Joe has potential as a singles act, talking on the mic, in the ring. He's the best out of the three of them. He needs to be the main focus and direction for Gallus going forward. And I think there's potential there.
Yeah, he has the most personality out of them. I've said some negative things about Gallus because I just needed them to drop these titles. And I will say, Gallus is very accomplished, especially during their run in WWE. The longest reigning NXT UK Tag Team Champions. They had, a bunch of success over here in the main NXT, winning tag team gold here, one of the few tag teams to win both tag team championships in the UK and on the main NXT. So I give them a bunch of credit. They're good hands in the ring. They can have good matches, even some great matches. They are just boring as a personality. They're just boring. And they come off, in this company, they come off like a Dollar Tree brawling brutes because their gimmick is so closely resembling that. So I think they need to do more to make themselves unique and from the Brawling Brutes before they're ready for a call up to the main roster. So I do agree with you, putting the focus and the spotlight on Joe Coffey as a different direction for the group.
Yeah, it'll switch things up.
So we get a recap of the rivalry between Roxanne Perez and Blair Davenport ahead of the Weapons Wild matchup. We get all that's happened heading up into there, and then we get the entrance of Roxanne Perez, who gets a big pop from the Texas crowd, being a home state girl from Texas. Her family is in the front row, her little sister and her mom. She hugs them both. She takes a picture with a fan next to them. And then another fan who has a hoodie on. It's Blair Davenport who attacks her to kick off the matchup. This one got really wild and frenetic type of pace very early on. And they did live up to the stipulation with a bunch of weapons being used, whether there was garbage cans, there was belts, a bunch of use with the family. I love the use of the family, especially the little sister. This little sister, if she's not going to the WWE Performance Center in less than a decade, she's going to Hollywood because she was on the money here. I think these are either legit tears or she deserves an Oscar for her performance. This led to a fiery Roxanne Perez comeback with her family rooting her on. She sets up a table at ringside. Her hair's all wild. This just feels like a different feel to Roxanne Perez at this point. We get the big table dive with the big splash off the middle rope through Blair Davenport on the table. And then back in the ring, we get a pile of chairs in the middle of the ring, and Roxanne hits Pop Rocks for the 1, 2, 3. This one got a little bit of time here, 11 minutes, 50 seconds. Felt like the blow off to this rivalry. Roxanne getting a huge win, her biggest win since losing the NXT Women's Championship in her home state of Texas. I really like this one. I gave it 3.5 stars. I may be the high one on it, but I thought it was very enjoyable. A lot of entertainment. They kept the action up, kept the story beats up. I thought the use of the family was very good as well. So I enjoyed this one. What did you think, Romeo?
Yeah, this was fun. I'm with you on all that. Another test for Roxanne that she passed with flying colors. Showing that mean streak, looking credible with her intensity, which was up and believable. Roxanne's family, like you said, added a lot. The kid did a good job. Sometimes I thought she looked like she was almost gonna laugh. Please don't laugh. Please don't laugh. You're gonna ruin it.
She got the
but tears. Then she turned it into crying. Yes, she turned it into crying. It's hard for a child to emote that kind of reaction purposely. Like, you got to give her credit for that. Credit to Blair too, who I thought did good, did everything asked for her, plays the heel role well. I'm sure there's storyline coming up for her where, in storyline, she injured everybody off screen. Everybody that had to go off screen, she injured them. So everybody who's coming back is gonna want to beat her ass up first. So she's got all that lined up for her. The finish was great. The splash of the table, the pop rocks on the chairs, and yeah, the match was 11 minutes, but it felt like they got a lot in. So good usage of the time. Well done.
So who do you think comes back first to feud with Blair? Is it Soul, Nikita, or Wendy?
I think it's Wendy, then Nikita, then Soul.
Soul's gonna be the one who next beats her, probably, right?
They probably all beat her.
I don't think Wendy. I think she's higher up on the totem pole than Wendy, at least. We got here in the chat Steven, who says Gallus main roster ready. I mean, they may be, but they're not ready for this main roster because they're too similar to the Brawling Brutes. And then if you're not too similar to the Brawling Brutes, you're too similar to Imperium. So it doesn't matter what main roster show we put you on. You need to be more unique than what you are right now. As far as talent in the ring, yes, they're main roster ready. But as far as character, promos, presentation, they're not.
To be fair, they were around before the Brawling Brutes were. To be fair.
I know.
Yes,
I know it's
yes.
it's really Brawling Brutes stole the gimmick from them, but they just got it in front of more eyes before them. It's like
they made it better.
It's like the mainstream rapper who steals rhymes from the underground rapper. That's what this is basically. We got here Ace, who says new NXT Tag Team Champions. That is all that matters. Indeed, the family being crowned. We had another one here I wanted to highlight. It was about Frantic World. It says, I'm glad that Dragon Lee got a win. About the pre-show matchup, I did want to mention Dragon Lee using the Destino. I like that. That needs to be. He can do it. He can hit that on anybody. So that's a good move for him to steal from a known act that hasn't been used in WWE.
It's a beautiful move. Beautiful.
It is. That's why Naito.
It needs Kevin Kelly on the call all the time, though.
Destino.
It's like somebody scored a goal in soccer.
We got Frantic World also saying congrats to Roxy getting the win here.
Roxanne.
Hey, they still chant Roxy. They're still saying Roxy. We got Frantic World. This is SP3 called Gallus, a Dollar Tree team. They can't be a Family Dollar team. Nah, they not even a Family Dollar team. Family Dollar is seen too much. They a Dollar Tree team. Like, they cheat, but you don't see it very often. All right.
Damn.
Next one was what we've been waiting for, what we've been waiting to talk about. Gable Steveson making his WWE in-ring debut, going one-on-one with Baron Corbin. Baron Corbin coming out to new theme music and new Videotron that has a ship burning, burn all ships is his new gimmick, his new, I guess, lone wolf, it feels, lone wolf-ish. Gable
I liked it. It
Stevenson.
looked cool. I might as well say that now because I'm not going to talk about Corbin in this whole damn review.
Gabe Stevenson came out. They showed a little highlight package of everything he's done as Olympic gold medalist, everything he's done in WWE before he came out. So we get early on, Corbin punches him in the corner to start, but Stevenson leapfrogs. His leapfrogs were looking good. He gets him into an ankle lock for the early Kurt Angle comparison. At that point, that's when fans start chanting, "You're not Angle," and "Let's go Corbin. You're not Angle. Let's go Corbin." The reaction for Stevenson, not very good in Texas. Corbin gets the rope and he heads outside where Stevenson gets posted back in. Corbin posts him shoulder first, followed by a Death Valley driver for a 2 count. Stevenson sends him into the corner, but gets stomped down for his efforts. We get some belly to belly suplexes that looked all right from Stevenson, dropping Corbin. Stevenson sends him outside where they start whipping each other into the announce table. They're completely ignoring the referee's count. The referee gets to the count of 10, and it's a double count out. 6 minutes, 33 seconds, I believe. They are continuing to brawl afterwards. Referees come down to separate the two. They're still brawling regardless of how many referees are in there. They're getting thrown down. They can't keep them apart. The crowd seemingly looked like they got into the post-match brawl here, but
fickle.
Romeo,
Continue. Sorry.
what was your thoughts on Stevenson debut here versus Baron Corbin?
I have a lot to say. Let me start.
And it ended with Stevenson belly to belly through the barricade on Corbin.
Yeah, you could say that with a little more excitement. Jeez. Mm-hmm. People are exaggerating, over-exaggerating this match. Look, first of all, okay, let's talk about the crowd. Weird crowd reaction. Gable has not been presented in this over-the-top way that Kurt Angle was at first, that influenced being booed. So that's weird to me. I don't know why they have it in for Gable Stevenson. Having Baron Corbin cheered over you in your debut, not good. Not good. Although the NXT crowd loves Corbin more than anybody else, more than main roster crowds, still not good. Now, do we want to get into why the crowd may possibly be booing Stevenson? I know a lot of people, you go on social media, you go on X, you go on X, you look up anything that WWE puts out about Gable Stevenson, the entire replies, comments, 85% of that, 90% of that is going to be talking about those allegations that are out there from the past. You might see the word rapist thrown out there, or rape, anything like that. I don't think the crowd turning on Stevenson had anything to do with that specifically, because they're chanting for Corbin, they're chanting "You're not Angle." It doesn't match with how heavy and deep that other stuff is. You'd be chanting more vile things. You probably wouldn't even give this match a reaction if it really bothers you. You'd just be silent or something. So I don't think it's related, but you look on social media, that's all it is. That's all it is, that's a problem, WWE. How are you going to combat that? That's a problem. Gable really needed to grab the mic here and say, you don't boo an Olympic gold medalist. Kurt Angle style. I think they're going to stay the babyface course because the NXT crowd in Orlando seemed to like Stevenson. They weren't this vile towards him. They will see him the most until No Mercy. But they could also be influenced by this crowd last night to turn on him because they do like the bandwagon. So we'll see how they respond on Tuesday. That'll be very key to how the direction this goes forward. I thought in ring, Gable looked good for the short time, especially with the suplex offense. There's potential there. His punches and his selling are not perfect, but that could be taught. I think he's gonna be fine. I think the whole narrative about him, in ring wise, I think the whole narrative about him not being good because he didn't get called up for 2 years can quietly die. I think he's gonna be fine. The count out, weird as hell. What are we doing? What are we booking? Like I know Baron Corbin. I know you're trying to present this new image of Baron Corbin. You're protecting him already. Gable Steveson, come on, give the kid the win. Jeez. It's not like the crowd didn't care about this. They chant bullshit. They start roaring for the pull apart. I thought the suplex through the barricade looked awesome. But obviously, this will always be remembered for that awful crowd reaction. You probably do need to turn them heel in the end. Wrestling fans are very weird with how they don't respect outside accomplishments one fucking bit. They turned on Kurt Angle. They turned on Ronda Rousey. Brock Lesnar started a heel, so I didn't really have that issue, but still, Brock got a lot of hate too just because he was part-time. You might as well just play to it and have him align with his already heel brother. You could dump the ruse of this is not his brother, this is Damon Kemp. Stop that. Just give him his real name. Have him tag. And you have to hope eventually he wins over fans with his good in-ring work that he can develop. The personality and humor will be tough, but because his brother outshines him in that right now. But yeah, I think that's going to have to be the move eventually. I had a lot to talk about there. Sorry.
No, it's fine. That's why I wanted to get. That's why if you noticed with my recap, kept it strictly recap. Did not give my opinion. I wanted to hear your opinion first. See if it changed my mind. It did not. This is an all-time worst WWE debut because you have to think about the level of investment that has gone into Gable Steveson, how much time they have been working with him as far as getting him ready for this opportunity, the stage in which he had the opportunity. No, it's not a WWE premium live event, but it's an NXT premium live event. If they were so freaking scared or unsure about where he was, I would have done this on a pre-taped episode of NXT. Would have worked around a lot of the bad issues here. As far as him in ring, I would give him a 4 out of 10. He does the suplex well. That's it. That's all. That's all he got right now. That's all he's got. And that's fine. But don't put him on a premium live event. I don't care if it got WWE, NXT, and as the first letters. Do not put that man on a premium live event if all he can do is suplex. That's all he can do. Suplex and throws, he was fine with. His selling, it was like middle ground-ish. It was not as bad as I thought it would be. I thought that would be his weakest part. His weakest part was his punches. His punches are god-awful. His punches are all-time awful. It has like a stutter to it where you can tell he does not know how to throw a work punch yet. Like the first punch he threw, I was like, ooh, he doesn't know how to throw a work punch yet. And he's worried that if he throws a punch, that he's going to really hit him. So these all are going to look ugly. And they all looked ugly after that. So this was not good. But I've seen guys who are green before. And what helps them is being across from a guy who's experienced and a good worker. And his style fits what the guy needs to do. I don't think Baron Corbin was the right guy here. I think Baron Corbin is a very solid worker. I think Baron Corbin works very well with the Carmelo Hayes of the world, with the high flyers, with the ricochets of the world. I don't think Baron Corbin has had that many good to great matches with guys his size, guys that can toss him around. I don't think those are his best matches. His best matches is when he gets to toss the other guy around. Those are his best matches. That's a better matchup for Corbin, and a better matchup for Stevenson would have been someone that's a heel, that's smaller that he could just toss around, that could sell for him. If you're going to put him in there with a main roster guy, what the hell is Dolph Ziggler? Dolph Ziggler would have been the perfect opponent for him, not Baron Corbin.
Oh my goodness.
And then
you thought the crowd loved Corbin. They would have blew the roof off for Ziggler.
Oh, hell yeah, they would have. Hell yeah. You notice I have not addressed the crowd yet. I am literally judging this on Stevenson and the match. I'm not going to talk about the crowd because you can't control that type of stuff. The reason why this is a question mark, one of the worst WWE debuts of all time, is because I've seen WWE debuts where the guy was green as goose shit. I've seen WWE debuts where they put him in against the wrong guy. I've seen WWE debuts that had bad booking, had the wrong finish. I have not seen in a very long time a WWE debut that had all three. All three. It was a trifecta of a guy that's green, a guy that's in there with the wrong guy, and we get an awful finish. At least give him a win. At least let him dominate. At least let him pin Corbin. A double count out on top of it with that crowd reaction. Yeah, this is easily top 10. Recency bias, maybe. Yes, I will admit that and acknowledge that. But maybe maybe after a week or so, I'll say top 20. But we'll say, you know what? I'll say for now. I'll keep it at an honest base. Top 20 worst WWE debuts of all time.
What did you want to say about the crowd?
I said the crowd is kind of like you.
Why do they hate him so much?
I think it's a mixture of a couple of things. They feel WWE is shoving him down their throat. You brought up the second thing of people with outside accomplishments, decorated athletes coming into WWE, unless they are a mainline star from the top 3 to 4 sports, they got very little ground for you. They loved Ronda Rousey at WrestleMania 31 when she came out of the crowd and paired up with The Rock. We were there at 34 when I was with the rest of the crowd. I was going crazy for Ronda at 34. But that was and she made it all the way to SummerSlam in Brooklyn and got cheered. And then they paired her up against another baby face that had the wrestling breeding that the fans could choose over her, and it was over. People have to realize that. I think that people tend to go, oh, Ronda had, a hot debut. The fans were behind her, and then the fans stopped being behind her the day after. The way people tell the story 4 or 5 years later, it wasn't like that. No, it was like a 6-month period where Ronda Rousey was one of the top baby faces in WWE until they put her against a better baby face. And that's when it comes down to that's them not putting her across the ring from someone that would help her out. And that's the same thing that happened with Gable Stevenson here. They did not put him across the ring against someone that was going to help him out. Baron Corbin in general, if Corbin gets cheered over you, you already are in the line for the worst WWE debut of all time. Like, it does not matter about everything I broke down about his performance and the match itself. It's the fact that the fans chose Baron Corbin. They didn't just boo him and reject him. They chose Corbin over him. That's an all-timer right there.
Yes. But to that point, I don't think that specifically is like any fault of Gable Stevenson's you can put blame on him. It's just a fickle crowd who was also cheering like for the pull apart, and they wanted to see them fight all of a sudden. Like, what?
Facts. We got Josh in the chat who says Corbin wasn't the right guy. Corbin isn't a guy who carries matches. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, you chose someone who is not the conductor, doesn't lead matches. He needed someone in there that can lead. And that is why I said it, and Will Chisholm agrees. It was like Dolph should have been his first match, and you say, the fans would have went wild for Dolph. That's fine. Like I said, it's not the crowd reaction that makes this an all-time worst WWE debut. It's everything else that I wrote down that makes this an all-time worst WWE debut. He wasn't that good. The wrong guy was in there against him, and they just booked an awful finish.
The stuff that he needs to work on. You think he's going to turn it around? In ring wise?
I think his selling could get better. I think, like I said, I thought the selling was not as bad as I thought it was going to be. That was my one worry, is that I was like, these guys that come in, legit athletes, it's always hit or miss when it comes to their selling. And even, powerful, big, and we've seen it even for guys who didn't come in with a wrestling background, like Goldberg. Goldberg was never good at selling. He's never been good at.
That's why he hardly did it.
Yeah, exactly. That's why he hardly did it. I didn't want that, and I knew they were going to make him sell because he was in there against Corbin. So yeah, it's just like, I know that can get better, but those punches, Romeo, I don't think you really emphasize. For the people who didn't watch this show, go back and watch those punches. Those punches. If you've been watching enough wrestling, you will see it from the first punch. He is scared to throw a punch in the ring because he's scared he's going to throw a legit punch. That was it. It just reads that one. I think it's because I've been watching wrestling all my life that immediately I was like, "Ooh, that's not good. That's not good."
I think he can get better. I think he could fix that stuff. I think he's going to be fine in ring wise. I think the harder thing to fix is going to be crowd reaction. I think that's the challenge. And, a lot of that probably is not even going to be up to him. It's probably going to be up to his booking. Who knows? Yeah. Who's a guy that's around that I would put him in the ring with? Tell me if you think this is a good idea. Besides obviously bringing down Dolph. Ali. He's already there.
He's another good one that you could put him in there against. And especially if you're going to go in the direction that he's going to be a heel now, if you accept that that's going to be the reaction that he's going to get moving forward.
What do you think they're going to do? I think they're going to stay the course.
I think they're going to stay the course. Yeah, they're definitely going to stay the course, and they're going to try him out in front of another big audience in a big arena. At least,
and if that happens again, then they'll probably have to swallow their pride.
Yeah, because I think this is either leading to a 6-month run on NXT where he gets ready and then gets called up to the main roster, or they're going to accept that he's going to need more time and he's going to be here for the next 2 years, and he's probably going to get an NXT Championship run in year 2.
Listen, there's nothing wrong with being a heel, starting a heel. Yes, I know he's an Olympic hero. Yay. But still, you saw it worked for Kurt Angle, didn't it? Didn't it? Did it ever? Come on. You don't have to be so prideful and stubborn that you have to force feed this babyface, because it might not work out in the end.
Exactly. We got Frantic Roll that says Santino Marella had a better debut than Gable Steveson. Yeah.
Hey, I mean, listen, you can overcome a bad debut. You can. It has been done before.
I'm not saying Edge. He can't overcome it, but it's a bad debut.
Do you remember Edge's debut?
Yeah, his wasn't great. It wasn't bad though.
No, but he also won by count out.
Yeah, he won. He won by count out because of an accident, because of an injury. Ugh. He didn't do it because it was booked that way. Oh my God, that makes it worse.
I asked everybody on the stream, do you guys remember Kurt Angle's debut? Nobody could remember it.
Yeah, Sean Stacey.
You remember it, right? Yeah.
Survivor Series,
AKA
1999.
Meat.
Yeah, AKA Meat. But yeah, that first matchup, I think it was because they did dark matches to get people's reaction to him, and they realized he was getting boos. So when he did his first matchup, he gets on the mic and he's like, "You're supposed to cheer an Olympic gold medalist,"
and that was so great. You're watching this at home, you're like, "Wow, that was funny."
Exactly.
What if he would have done that right there in that match? Would that have popped you?
It would have popped me. It would have popped me for the callback, and I would have been.
Yeah.
I probably would be more positive because that would be the first bit of charisma he would have shown in his whole entire career. That's the other thing that people are not talking about enough because they're focusing on just this. It's the fact that we got everything else before this, where this man in a company that very much values charisma has shown 0 bits of it. In all of his appearances, he has shown no charisma at all.
That's going to be the
Remember
easiest
this?
way.
WrestleMania 38, when Stephanie introduced him.
That is going to be the easiest way to get charisma out of him, is to have him turn heel, because it'll come naturally to just be a dick to these fans who are booing him. But I got to mention this, like, I have to, because I see it everywhere with the allegation stuff. People do need to research and look into it and do the homework. These are just the facts. I'm not trying to say one side or the other. No charges were ever brought against him. No. Minnesota had some weird rules when it comes to consent and being under the influence of alcohol and all that stuff. That's part of the reason is implied that no charges were ever brought against him. I'm just saying, like, before you jump on the bandwagon and start throwing words around, just do the research and see the facts behind why everyone feels so strongly about this. That's all.
That is fair and balanced analyzing. Thank you, Romeo. We got Frantic World that says, was Gable's punches worse than PVZ punches? It's like Paige Van Zandt pulled back on her punches, where Gable Stevenson paused on his punches. So I think it was worse. Where you can see a camera angle where Paige's punches would have looked good, but they just chose the wrong camera angle. There was nothing that was going to make Gable, for the right eyes, for people who've been watching wrestling long enough, there was nothing no camera angle was making his punches look good.
What about Shane McMahon?
No, so Shane McMahon's the GOAT of worst looking punches. I mean, I think Gable has to get better to have worse punches.
I think it's fixable. I think he's gonna be okay.
Oh, we got Josh who says, last year I did tell a certain perverted journalist from the UK not to oversell on Stevenson in the WrestleMania review. Whoop! That's why you're still on wrestling YouTube and he's not. Anyway, we go to backstage where Actually, next we had the NXT North American Championship was up for grabs in a triple threat matchup as Dominik Mysterio was set to defend against Wesley and Mustafa Ali. Before that, we went backstage. We looked at Rhea Ripley defeating Lyra Valkyria on Tuesday's NXT. She talked about the matchup and coming up short against her and getting to show of respect afterwards. And Rhea told her to take out JC Jane, and that's what she's going to do. JC Jane attacks her from behind, leads to a big brawl between the two, and we see Rhea walking to the ring saying, "Atta girl," or something like that. That's what I was
This is very weird to me because Rhea is an established heel. And here she is motivating someone who is a clear babyface to go up against JC Jane, an established heel. It's weird. I like the rub, but it's weird.
WWE has the opportunity to have the biggest babyface female star since Becky Lynch if they have Rhea Ripley turn on Dominik Mysterio. If she turns on Dominik Mysterio, she will get universally cheered. She will get some of the biggest pops, through the roof pops that we've heard for a female.
Yes. And you could do a believable intergender match that people would really look forward to watching.
Yeah.
But down the line.
Yeah, down the line. Yeah. We got
And you could
at
definitely make
least
Dom an even
until Mania. At least after Mania, you would think about.
yeah. Then that would be like the next Mania. That's a Mania match right there. Yeah, you could make Dom even more mega heel by having him just take advantage of her, talk shit about her. He gets caught. Yeah.
Could do it. Could do it. Could do it. We got to talk about the North American Championship matchup. This one, you get Wesley, who gets a good reaction from the crowd. Mustafa Ali, more of in the middle, while Dominik Mysterio got some nuclear heat from this Texas crowd. And why are we surprised? But I thought that this was a well done triple threat match that highlighted each individual. You had Dom at one point breaking up a big fight on the top rope between Wesley and Mustafa Ali, pushing them both off and then flexing on the top rope. You had Dom really always trying to be kind of the breaking up of pins and the slimy heel coming in and out, and really taking advantage and really drawing out the most of from this crowd as far as reactions. Like when he hits the three amigos on Mustafa Ali at one point, and he always hits it wrong. Why does he never know which way to swing his feet? It seems like always he doesn't know which way. Go the way opposite your arms, which way the opponent is. The opposite way is the way you swing your legs. Jesus Christ, I just want to scream to him. But like nice little set pieces here, like Mustafa Ali getting a double submission on Lee and Mysterio at the same time. You had Wesley flying all over the place. Nice little flip dive over Rhea Ripley onto Dominik at one point. Rhea would eventually get involved in numerous amounts of ways. First, she would help Dom grab the North American Championship, which distracted the referee who took it away from Dom, giving him time to grab the Women's World Championship and knock Wesley out with it, but only get a 2 count. This one, this finishing sequence really put over Wesley and how much it took to finally put him away. And I love the sell from Rhea Ripley at various times when he kicked out. First one was on this one, then on the outside, Rhea Ripley drives Wesley through the announce table with the riptide. I'm not even sure she thought the table was going to break because of how close she was and how it broke. I don't think she expected it to break, but that was a nice little moment right here. She puts Wesley back into the ring where Dom pins him again, and he kicks out yet again. Rhea was freaking out on the floor at this point. We get Ali breaking up a frog splash from Dom, and then he goes to the top rope and hits a 450 splash, nearly gets the 1-2-3 until Rhea pulls him out of the ring and takes Ali out for good. Dom was hung up, but finally gets himself to the top rope, hits the frog splash on Wesley, and finally puts him away to retain the NXT North American Championship. This one goes 12 minutes and 5 seconds. I thought they really highlighted and let everyone shine in their different ways, including Rhea Ripley at the end, who has really been the X factor, and they're really developing a great overarching story of Dom is pretty much useless unless mommy is around, which they told that story very well throughout the 12 minutes. So I gave it 3 3/4 stars. What did you think, Romeo?
A fun triple threat. I think Ali and Wes, they kept it simple enough early on that Dom could keep up with them, which was good. Ali's double submission spot was cool. The missed 450 on the apron looked brutal. Mommy's riptide into the table looked good because those things don't always cooperate and break like that. Wesley sometimes can be overpowered as hell. How did he kick out of that? The riptide has been a mostly protected finisher. One through a table, kicking out of that as wild. But then he kicks out a title belt to the head. It's like, oh my god. The little bit
I was
extra
like, this
here.
man is a beast. I was like, this man is a beast.
Man, they love Wesley. Good for him. I like him too. The little bit extra here, it heightened the drama, even though I felt like it was mostly Dominik's gonna win. The drama was heightened towards the end. Great near falls. Rhea was just all over affecting his finish, and the ref can't do a thing. Triple threat. So, and I thought Dom's frog splash may have been one of his best ever. So, listen, that's
very Eddie Guerrero-ish on that one.
That's as high a compliment as you could give for that. So that's 2 weeks in a row where I think Dom's had good matches, mostly in part to the great competition he had in the ring. But yeah, a smart decision to keep Dom champ. Dom, the draw is fun on Tuesdays with Rhea. Keep it going. More reps in NXT with different producers, different coaches, and HBK's learning tree is great for Dom. You hope it is. I have no complaints of Dom's wrestling here. A far improvement from his match with Wesley, which was a disaster. Yeah, I got all good things to say about this.
We got in the chat here, Annika.
How many stars did you give it, by the way?
3 3/4 stars.
Okay.
Annika saying, we've been saying Dom needed a stint in NXT, so I'm all for this run, although I really wanted Ali to have a North American title run. And I think they did well for the fans who did want that with that tease at the end with the 450. Because I thought, I was like, oh shit, they're really gonna have Ali win this one? And then Rhea got involved. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I think Ali might be entitled to a 1-on-1 with Dom, but who knows, because they also did set something else up for Dom on the show.
Yeah. We got here Safet saying Wesley kicking out of the Rhea's Riptide finish. That was protected. That like Romeo said, they really put over Wesley despite him taking the loss in this one. We got Queen Monet who says Dom was questioning Rhea about the triple threat, but she was right as always. Yeah, she knew she could cheat and wouldn't get disqualified.
Genius.
Like,
Mommy's always right. Mommy's on top too.
It's a tag team match. It's not a triple threat. Trey says, you mean to tell me no one thinks to bring someone to take out Rhea so she doesn't interfere? Apparently so, Trey. Sorry to tell you this.
I don't have any friends. Ali and
West doesn't have any female friends, I guess. Safet says the referee gets LVP for getting involved in that match by taking the belt away, and the ref should know better. That was a no DQ match. Well, he realized that Rhea was helping him so much, so he tried his best to negate that in some way, but that was the only way he could think of, and that just led to them using the other title at use.
Yeah, just because it's a triple threat match, I think the ref is entitled to use his discretion. He can interrupt anything he wants. It's not like it's no holds barred, officially.
Yeah.
So I'm fine with that.
Next, we got the NXT Women's Championship bout, as it was Thea Hale challenging Tiffany Stratton for the gold. Tiffany Stratton coming out with a Barbie theme for her entrance, coming out with the cowboy outfit since they're in Texas. Thea Hale got a big reception from the crowd with the Chase U behind her, with Duke Hudson and Andre Chase in her corner. I thought these women tried to have a more based in the stipulation type of matchup, with Tiffany Stratton really showing how many submissions she's been practicing at the Performance Center. She's pulling out surfboards at one point. She goes for a cravat at another point, big backbreaker, all these submissions working over the back at certain points. Thea Hale would eventually make her comeback, and this shit was scary. I'm sorry. The way she was doing these suplexes and Stratton would just land on her head a few times, I was just like, this is not no. Let's go back to the PC. We get her working over the back to the point that she sets her up for the prettiest moonsault ever. She then applies a Boston Crab and doesn't quite know how to hold on to the hold due to the size of Thea Hale. So she's dropping her at various points, but keeping Thea away from the ropes. This leads to Andre Chase and Duke Hudson trying to root her on, but Andre Chase, not wanting to see his student in pain, decides to throw in the towel. 11 minutes, 45 seconds. This was fine, I mean, the finish came off lackluster because she couldn't get the submission on properly, and Thea Hale never felt like she was in danger of being injured, so that misses the point of the towel toss that has been taught in wrestling for years and years and years now. So that was the one thing wrong with it, the finish. The work in between, you could tell that both of these ladies are still trying to improve in the ring and still a little bit green. I thought Tiffany Stratton looked better than Thea Hale on this occasion, especially with the submissions that she was showing. And she shows strong psychology in these big matches. She did that against Lyra Valkyria. She did that here. But this whole match fell apart with the finish. So I give the match overall 2 3/4 stars, and I think I'm being generous. Romeo, what did you think?
A lot to say. Bear with me. I loved both their entrances, especially Tiffany, Barbie girl, very current. Well done. I agree with you. We got to remember how young and green these two are. Tiffany, obviously, a little less greener, but obviously, this was a big test for her too. This wasn't perfect by any means. Had some down moments. I think there was enough shown here to feel positive about both women's progress going forward. Yeah. It's like they're getting thrown into deep waters, and Sean saying, "Go swim." Because I don't think submission when I think Tiffany Stratton wrestling, but she put in the work early and she had some good ones and she looked good doing that. Just like I don't think hardcore match with Roxanne or Blair Davenport, but they went out and accepted that challenge too. Yeah. Now the backflip of Tiffany where she lands on her head, very scary. It's very scary. Thankfully, Tiffany tucks her chin. I saw Duke Hudson on the outside. He tried so hard to limit his reaction, but he couldn't really. He was like, "Oh shit." I think the bump genuinely bothered Tiffany the rest of the match. Not surprisingly. I know because I watched this match back. She's doing heavier breathing. She's moving a little slower. She still remembers all her spots at least, but it seemed like she was more grinding through the rest of the match than actual selling to me. I got scared again when they went to the top rope, considering what happened earlier. But Tiffany rotated wonderfully. Somehow she was able to on the top rope exploder. The double tap, that's going to create some controversy, Tiffany. Tapping the mat again. I don't know if that was planned, but who knows? The PME, beautiful. And by this point, I see Tiffany is exhausted. You see the really breathing heavy, slumped over bad with the Boston Crab.
And this only went 12 minutes. I think the match at Battleground was longer.
Yeah, I love the idea of like Thea being in a submission and not giving up. I think the execution was way too long. And because it was so long, it made Tiffany even more tired. She kept botching the submissions. When Tiffany falls over, I thought it's like a delayed concussion and her losing her equilibrium. I'm no doctor, but I wouldn't be surprised. They didn't really check on her that much when the actual spot of her hitting on the head happened. She kind of just kept going through her moves, and so the ref was like, "Oh, I guess you're good." But they never really stopped the match to check on her. I do like Chase throwing the towel. It got a good reaction, more boos, but it's good for the story. It makes Thea look tough. I feel bad for Tiffany because I thought she did a lot of good here before landing on her head, and she even did some good after that, taking the suplex off the top rope. I gotta think the bump affected her performance the rest of the way. It's unfortunate because the match was scripted well to me, but the execution at the end didn't match it. I don't think it was due to a lack of effort. I'm still encouraged by both of them. So yeah, I mean, I agree with most of your takes, but I got to think that bump affected the match. What do you think? Do you think there's any truth to that? I know you're no doctor either, but
yeah, no. I think I agree with you that the match changed at that point. Like I said, I thought everything was going well until Thea went on her comeback and started hitting those exploders and couldn't get Tiffany over the right way. And I thought that the Boston Crab wasn't the best choice because that's not, although it seems like one of the easier submissions to do for a long period of time, it does put a strain on your back. And if you are dazed the way that it seemed Tiffany was, that's also not going to allow you to sit up there with your equilibrium in that way. And plus, she's a taller girl, Tiffany Stratton, and she's doing it on the shortest girl on the roster. So that also didn't help matters at all. We got in the chat here, Frantic World saying, Chase, you must have watched Rocky 4. Do you think they should have had Thea pass out from the pain first and then Andre throws in the towel?
No. I liked it the way it was. I liked it.
I thought that would have been more effective. It just never felt like Thea was in danger at all for you to throw in the towel for her.
I think because Tiffany just kept botching the move. I think that's why.
Yeah.
I think if she would have had it on the whole time perfect, you would have bought into it more.
Yeah.
But
it also was like, you're right. Yeah, she was gassed because I think that she was supposed to like drag her to the middle of the ring. She couldn't even do that.
She fell over. She was very scared. Yeah. Landed on her head again. She didn't have her balance.
We got Annika says, well, pass out would have the ref called the match. Yeah, definitely. We got Will Chisholm who says that Tiffany bump made guys in New Japan smile though.
Oh, come on.
That's ridiculous. All right, it's time, y'all. It is time. We first get a backstage segment where Dragon Lee runs into he's talking to Nathan Frazier and the ladies, proud of their win from earlier when he runs into Rhea Ripley and Dominik Mysterio. Rhea calls him a wannabe Rey Mysterio, and Lee says that he would be proud to be like Rey in any way. And Dom says that he's been putting pride on the Mysterio name, not his father, and he says that he should show more respect. And it seems like we are setting up a Dragon Lee Dominik Mysterio program here. What do you think about this segment here and the potential in that rivalry?
I love this little short back and forth, the wannabe Rey Mysterio line. So funny. And then he's like, you know who I am. And Rhea's like, Batman. Funny. But yeah, is Dragon Lee going to be the guy to take the title of Dominik Mysterio? I don't know. I don't think so, but all right, we'll see. It's a natural story to tell because he does look like a little Rey Mysterio.
Yeah. Hey man, he needs something. He needs something because they brought him in WrestleMania season, had a whole bunch of hype, and it seems like he's been dropping down the card. He started at mid card and then dropped down the card instead of making the ascent up. So hopefully the win.
They put him in these rounds matches that don't fit his style whatsoever.
Exactly. I was like that Browns matchup at Battleground. I was like, that was just the wrong choice for this guy. Like, come on. We got Queen Monet who says Rhea called it Dragon Lee Batman after he says you know who I am was hilarious. And we also got Annika who says Dragon Lee would be an awesome story. Could have Ray like put the belt around his waist too. Why not?
You notice a pattern here with Shawn Michaels' development strategy of some people. Roxanne, weapons match. Tiffany, submission match. Dragon Lee, British rounds matches. Melo, go mix it in there with Ilja Dragunov. He's testing all these people with stuff that they probably shouldn't be doing, but it's going to make them tougher. It's going to make them better. I understand what he's trying to do.
Yeah, you could kind of see that as well. But yeah, let's talk about the main event, NXT Championship bout. Carmelo Hayes defending against the number one contender, Ilja Dragunov. Love Dragunov coming out with the red eyes. Also love Carmelo Hayes coming out with the I get a dream, hold on to it, and shoot for the sky from the American dream of the road and had that play with the banners coming down and then the banner of him coming down for his entrance. You just had the vibe of a big match feel, and this one had high expectations from a bunch of fans, but I just think it just exceeded those expectations for a bunch of us because of the physicality in this bout. And Ilja Dragunov, man, I don't think it's said enough. This dude is legit a top 3, top 4 worker in this company. In this entire company, this man is legit because the level of intensity he has brought to bouts. And as someone, you know, me and Romeo both have seen Carmelo Hayes since he was on the independent scene, this just felt like the best match of his career. You're seeing German suplexes. This felt like an all Japan, New Japan style matchup, hard style. You get the big lariats. You got Carmelo throwing chops. You get the hard chops from Dragunov that makes light skin, brown skin Carmelo Hayes have blood vessels popping out of his fucking chest. You get Carmelo with unique versions of his signature offense due to how Dragunov sells moves. Like when he hits La Mystica and it looks like he bounces Dragunov's head off the fucking mat. Oh my God, this was ridiculous. The way he hit the reverse DDT.
Is that this move right here that you're talking about?
Yeah, this move right here. And then the reverse DDT off the middle rope, the springboard into the reverse DDT. That was ridiculous.
Which I don't know how he still does. Like, that's a sick move.
You get Dragunov with the big senton for a 2 count, but then that leads to him going to the opposite side, looking for the coast to coast on Carmelo, but Carmelo gets up at the last minute, and one of the best highlights of the NXT this entire year. They got their Carmelo Ricochet moment here as Carmelo catches him with first 48, and Dragunov does this ridiculous over-the-top bump. Like, the sell of this was just insane.
Perfect. Put this in the video package of NXT. Put it in there.
Hell yeah. Hayes goes for nothing but net, but Dragunov's able to counter and hits a big power bomb with him dropping right on his fucking head.
Crazy.
Dragunov's running forearm to the head gets a 2. He gets a top rope superplex, is countered into a cutter in midair in one of the other best highlights of the year for NXT. You get a slugfest between the two, gets to the floor. The fans are chanting, "This is awesome." You got Trick Williams towards the end here is trying to pep talk Carmelo, telling him to keep focused on what needs to be done. He grabs the NXT Championship, says, "You do it for this." And when they're on the outside, Dragunov comes off the steel steps with the torpedo. Carmelo moves and he hits Trick Williams and hits the NXT Championship. Carmelo gets him in the ring, hits nothing but net, and that's enough to get the 1, 2, 3. Carmelo Hayes retains the NXT Championship. This one goes 24 minutes, 8 seconds. This crowd was on fire towards the end here. So loud, so vocal, into every single moment, reacted big. I didn't think these guys had the best chemistry at first, and I thought the first 5 to 6 to 7 minutes were a feeling out process, them trying to get used to each other. But boy, oh boy, when they hit second, third gear, they were really cooking, and it really worked out. And Dragunov brought a intensity and kind of like sense of desperation that I've never seen from a Carmelo match. This honestly feels like the best Carmelo match that I've seen from him during his time in WWE. I've been tossing around 2 ratings to give it, and no, it's not a perfect matchup. I thought the finish was not the right finish. And it's literally for people who are going to go in and be like, "Oh my God, you're hating," or, "Oh no, it is 5 stars. It has to be 5 stars." It is 5 stars if you think it's 5 stars. That's your opinion. You're entitled to be wrong. But when WWE books a finish that is literally to protect someone and to set up a rematch, that's not a perfect matchup. And that wasn't even the perfect way to do that type of finish. So the finish does not allow it to be a perfect matchup. I thought, like I said, the first couple of minutes, you could throw that away because they were filling out with each other. But when they really started cooking, this was one of the best WWE matches of the year. So I'm going to go as far as to give it 4 3/4 stars. Romeo, what did you think about Melo versus Ilja?
That is a very, very fair rating on this match. I agree with you. You could either say that or 4.5. I won't argue.
That is where I was tossing around, and I may change my mind by tomorrow when I put my ratings out on Twitter and go with 4.5. But I've been tossing around both. It's like in that 4.5, 4 3/4 range. I would say 4 1/4. 4 1/4 is like the lowest this match deserves.
Right. I was excited for this going in, and after seeing it, I was excited to see it again. Ilja brought Melo into his style of match, and Melo passed the test.
Yeah.
Dragunov is a special breed. I hope people are watching and appreciating and enjoying how great this guy is. He got so much out of Braun, and then now he gets it out of Melo too. Probably more. This guy just produces gold in the ring. Enjoy it while you can here in NXT. Because who knows if he will get the chance to paint this much art on the main roster. Who knows? Selfishly, I wanted him to win. Especially when you could see a reason for Melo to drop the title with his new interactions with Lashley. He's probably main roster bound a lot sooner than we thought. Maybe that still is the plan, considering the end of the match. I was worried when Trick went to go get the belt that he was going to affect the outcome even more so than he did by taking matters personally into his own hands. Thankfully, they didn't go that route. I liked this route much better. On first view, I didn't really notice Ilja headbutting the title. It looked more like he headbutted a Trick in the head. They show the replay. He really doesn't get a lot of it, but it seems like that's a story they're trying to tell here, which is fine. Protects the Mad Dragon. I want to see a rematch. The door is open for one with that finish. I definitely think we're getting Ilja and Trick on one of these NXTs, and that's going to be a real test for Trick, who has improved in his own right. If Ilja can get a good match out of Trick Williams and make him look even better. So, but yeah, this was awesome. The selling, the innovation, that cutter off the top rope. Wow. Like an RKO. Like shit. That power bomb, Ilja. Woo, he power bombed the shit out of Carmelo. Oh my God. This was physical. I loved it. I'm gonna watch this multiple times.
Hell yeah. I think it's probably Ilja's. It's in his top 5 for sure. I want to say it's definitely
got so many
behind
bangers.
The Walter Gunther matches and maybe one of the JD matches. But other than that, those are the only ones that come off the top of the head. And Dijak at Battleground.
He's got so many.
Yeah, I don't know. That would be the real.
This is better than Ilja Braun, but I love Ilja Braun too.
Yeah, Ilja. This was better than Ilja Braun. I think the question now is it better than Dijak, the Dijak match? I gave the Dijak match 4.5 stars, but I was in that 4.5, 4 3/4 range. Meltzer gave it 4 3/4.
Finish. It's got a better finish, but I think they're pretty even.
Yeah. This was amazing. And Dragunov, I said it during when I was recapping the match, and I'll say it again. I say only Gunther and Seth Rollins is the only people I would put ahead of Ilja Dragunov in the ring on the entire WWE roster.
I mean, yeah, those are two as good as it gets. Yeah.
Like
I don't have a huge problem with that.
You know, when you're putting them in the ring, you're going to get a great matchup, especially when it's on a premium live event and you're giving them 24 minutes in the main event. Is this his first main event, like outside of the UK and Florida? Come on. He killed.
Yeah, because I've been noticing they usually give these main events in the 19 to 20 minute range. They gave him a little bit extra here, which is cool.
They wanted them to go out there and have a little bit better than what we. I will say, like, the NXT premium live events have been really good this year. The one thing they've been missing, though, was a classic in the main event. The main events have been weak. Steel Cage, Grayson Waller, and Braun Breaker, Braun and Melo 1, Braun and Melo 2. Those are all like 3.5. Those are good matches. You haven't had a great main event matchup for an NXT Premium Live event since last year. And guess when that was? The last time they put Ilja Dragunov in the main event at Halloween Havoc with him, JD, and Braun.
Yeah. For some reason, they really held back on those Braun Melo matches. I don't know why. Like, those should have been much better than they were. I don't know why they did that. They love Braun so much. I don't know why. But listen, if you're one of those people that, doesn't really watch NXT, doesn't really want to invest the effort or time into it, you still should probably make an attempt to watch Ilja Dragunov matches, because I'm pretty sure that's what you want on any TV show. That's the kind of stuff you always want to see. He is always worth your time and effort.
And this was a big test for Carmelo Hayes, and he passed it with flying colors. And he's a guy that really, I think Jeremy was telling me earlier on in the Weeds that they had Cam Hawkins on Friday to preview the show, and they were talking about how Carmelo Hayes hasn't had that real, like, that level of intensity, physical encounter that Ilja Dragunov was known for before last night. And Cam's response was he hasn't needed to. He's been off of charisma and having good to great matches on TV and these premium live events, more athletic-based matches. That's how he's gotten over. That's how he's gotten to the top. And he's already the NXT champion, so he really hasn't needed that. But now that he has had it, it's like, oh, you're capable of this now? Okay. now we know we got different levels to this.
That spot on the corner where Ilja's just knife chopping Melo, and then Melo slaps the shit out of him, and you see Ilja's eyes light up like, oh, that felt like, okay, now the match has started.
Yes. It felt like they were like I said, you could throw away the first 7-8 minutes of this matchup. And I know that number keeps growing because I keep thinking back of the matchup where it really starts getting good. And it's at that point when they're trading the knife edge chops 8 minutes in where it was like, okay, now we know where we're going here. Now let's really start cooking. So yeah, that's when the match really started getting good, and all those spots at the end, man, those are going to be in the NXT highlights for the next couple of years.
So Melo going forward, I know he wants to work with Ali, but I wonder if he's even going to get that chance because of this whole Lashley thing that's going on. Can you see a scenario where this is building up to a rematch and Ilja might actually win that and then Melo's gone? Or you think Melo's sticking around much longer and he'll just float back and forth between the shows?
Midway through this matchup, I was like, Ilja's the guy that needs to dethrone Carmelo. That's what it really felt like in this matchup. And funny enough, I watched Ilja versus Walter, the matchup from 2020. Matchup we debated. And I will say 3 years later, you were right. It was 5 stars. Watching it back, I will admit.
3 years
3 years later. 3 years later, and what was that? That was my 4th time watching it. And after watching last night's matchup, I just had to see that matchup and compare the two. Dragunov was very, very dominant in this matchup. And I think he was too dominant, where it made it too obvious that Carmelo was going to retain, which is different from the first Walter match, because Walter was very dominant in that, which made it more believable as the beating is going on that Dragunov was going to come back and win. So when he doesn't, the finish is a surprise. So that's what makes a great matchup, where this one, I felt Dragunov was too dominant, and it made it too obvious Carmelo was going to win in the end because he had gotten 20% of the offense.
Yeah. Listen, the crowd loves Carmelo, but they would buy into, Ilja being the next guy too.
Yeah.
If they build it up well. You think it's going to happen?
I think that should be the move. No mercy, Bakersfield, book it. Ilja Melo 2, Ilja wins the title. And if you don't have the immediate kind of pull the trigger on this whole Bobby Lashley thing with Melo and Trick, you could do Ilja Melo 3 at the Halloween Havoc the next month.
Going to be interesting because I think he's going to SmackDown. I don't think we ever get Melo Ali, which I know they wanted to do.
Yeah, I mean it's possible, but I can see him getting that matchup on NXT TV before the next premium live event if he wants to do that, if they want to get that in. But man,
you know what else I wanted to see? I wanted to see Melo Wesley.
I mean, we've seen that.
What?
When Wesley beat him?
Oh, the North American Championship.
North American Championship, yeah.
Well, yeah, I guess.
No. They faced on that was before the Dijak feud for Wesley.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Dijak came out after he beat Carmelo in the rematch because he won the title in the ladder multi-man matchup at Halloween Havoc and then beat Melo on TV. But I wouldn't mind them running it back. They have good chemistry with one another. Him and Nathan Frazier need to run it back as well. Him and Dragon Lee would be a banger. Come on. Oof. Melo got a couple of more matchups in him as NXT champion.
Better hurry up. Got till September.
Got till September, sir. But let's put our thumbs in the middle, Romeo. Sound off in the live chat. Thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs in the middle. MVP, LVP, match of the night, and out of 10, what did you give the show? Last call for super chat donations as well. For me and Romeo, thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs in the middle in 3, 2, 1. Thumbs up across the board for NXT, the Great American Bash 2023. Out of 10, what did you give the show, Romeo?
A 7.3.
Wow, I'm actually surprised. I might be going higher on this than you. I'm going to go 7.5 even. 7.5. There was one of the... I'm sorry. I'm a lover of wrestling, and that means all wrestling. So the fact that this show has one of the best WWE matches of the year and one of the worst wrestling matches of the year, I'm sold on this show. I think that's the reason I'm sold on this show, because it is very balanced. It's balanced. You got one of the worst matches of the year and one of the best matches of the year from the biggest company in the business.
Yeah, if the Tiffany Thea match doesn't go, down the hole, I think that was, on its way to making us a higher score.
Yeah, it was closer to 8.
Yeah.
Closer to 8 if that would have been better. MVP for the show, Romeo.
I got a lot. Let me give props to Tony D and Stacks. Let me give props to Roxanne. And let me give big props to Ilja and Melo.
MVP. Shoot. Yeah, I'm going to go with Tony D and Stacks for winning the tag gold in the opener. I am also going to go... I think Tony D and Stacks and Roxanne, because she got to win in her hometown. So,
know what? Let me give credit to Mommy as well, because Mommy was right.
She was the X Factor.
Mommy was right.
Hey, mommy gets an MVP like Andre Iguodala. You're the X Factor, not the MVP, but you still get MVP hours. LVP, Romeo.
Hey, listen, I'm not as down as him as so many people are, but you still got to give him LVP because, as good friends of mine once say, he is in the mud right now, Gable Stevenson, because this crowd reaction, not just that crowd reaction, but the reaction you see on social media, it is ugly. Ugly. He's got to overcome. The odds are stacked. Again, this will be tougher than winning Olympic gold. Trying to overcome all this. This will be way tougher for him. So, man, he's got a long hill to climb, a long journey. You made the decision. You could have. You should have went and get another gold medal, man. You should have never done this shit right now. You should have went and done that shit. You should have gone back to college. Fuck, this is gonna be tough. But I think he's gonna do it. You heard it here first. I think Gable Stevenson will eventually overcome everything that is in front of him. I think so.
LVP unanimous is Gable Steveson. Like, oh man, I said it before. The trifecta of one of the worst WWE debuts of all time. I would say the worst WWE debut of the 2020s, of this decade of the 20s. The worst one so far.
I mean, nothing jumps nothing jumps to the front of my brain on what would match that.
The only thing that matches that is Retribution. What's your match of the night? I think it's obvious.
Oh yeah, that's unanimous. You already know. Main event.
Yes, Ilja Dragunov versus Carmelo Hayes is my match of the night as well. Clearing everything else on this damn show, in my opinion. But yes, that was NXT, the Great American Bash 2023. Romeo, thank you for joining me for this review here. You've been joining me for more reviews, so I appreciate you. So I can't even talk shit this time. Just tell the people where they can follow you on social media and when they'll see you next time.
For Romeo Anthony, Instagram, X, YouTube, TikTok, and join me tonight, Rated Raw Superstars, me and the True Draw Josh, and maybe some more people. So we watch Raw, and if you haven't watched the Cody documentary yet, we plan to watch right after Raw's over. We'll stay up, we'll watch that. So if you want to hold off on watching that, watch it with us live later on. We'll watch it after Raw. And check out NX3. We watch NXT every Tuesday. Elite Heat Wednesdays. Watch Dynamite. And this week, a whole lot going on as far as SummerSlam. I'm sure SP3 will give you the deets in a few.
Indeed. Are we going to review Cody's documentary?
I saw that shit is 2 hours. Cody was in the editing floor like, leave that in, leave it in, leave it.
-5 stars. You can follow me on the Twitter machines or X machines at True Heel
Sounds
SP3.
naughty.
I know, right? X gonna give it to you. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at True Heel Heat. Same, go over and subscribe to True Heel Heat Sports and follow us over on TikTok. You can also subscribe and become a member of our Patreon page, patreon.com/True Heel Heat. More additional content. I promise the Patreon backers, I'm gonna put out Raw report earlier this week. I did my best last week. I messed up a day later, but it's going to be earlier this week. You got the review of Honor. Plus, we're going to have more content over there. Patreon.com/True Heel Heat. Only $3 a month. More stuff for you to enjoy there. And check out all the great content that we got here on the True Heel Heat YouTube channel. Romeo said tonight, Rated Raw Superstar starting at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. We're also going to have a pre-recorded edition of Collision Course, which I wanted to tell you, Romeo, we might change it to Collision Discourse. Too many Collision Course reviews out there, but Collision Discourse,
Really?
not used.
They stole our shit?
Yep, they stole our shit.
We had it first.
I know. But another AEW Collision review is going to be dropping here on the channel, more than likely tomorrow on the channel. More than likely. I can't promise anything. Also, check out our True Heel Heat Flash Hit podcast, True Heel Heat 236 from this past Saturday with myself, Miss Chrissy Love, and special guest Scott Edwards of Fightful and the awesome Ben of the Public Enemies podcast. A lot of fun talking about this week in wrestling, how AEW can book their women's division better, what matches is planned for AEW All In, NXT, the Great American Bash preview, and more. And on Wednesday, we'll be live here on the True Heel Heat YouTube channel for our WWE SummerSlam 2023 preview. Myself and Romeo, special guest pending. We are going to be joining you to break down the card for this coming Saturday in Detroit, the Tribal Combat, and more. And of course, we'll be here on Saturday, True Heel Heat Flagship Podcast at 11:05 a.m. Eastern Time. And then the SummerSlam watch party starting out at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Roman versus Jay, Cody versus Brock, Finn versus Seth, and much, much more. Want to thank Romeo. Want to thank all of you in the live chat for joining us live. If you're watching us on demand, we appreciate you as well. Drop a thumbs up on the video. Let us know in the comments down below. Our review is our review. Our thoughts are all thoughts and opinions. We want to hear your opinions and love to interact. Let us know in the comments down below what you thought about NXT, the Great American Bash 2023. For Romeo, it is me, your True Hill Phenom, SP3. This has been WWE NXT, the Great American Bash 2023 review. We are signing off until next time.